Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Comics Illustrator Ron Friends, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Hello, kids. Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Tales, your one-stop shop for all the best of Marvel has to offer, comic-wise. All right, I am Phil. Joining me, as always, that West Coast Owl himself. It is
Justin the Owl taking a trip to California.
California knows how to party. That's right, kids. We're covering that original West Coast Avengers miniseries. With the Fab Five.
That's right, the original.
That's right, kids. So, all right. So,
did you read this when it came out, Phil? Do you remember?
No, I came to West Coast Avengers later. So yeah, I didn't pick this up new. Did you?
No, actually, I started reading the actual series that followed this from the beginning. I picked up the first issue of that and read that from the beginning on. But it wasn't until a few years after that I actually tracked down these 4 issues that I think I found them in a dollar bin or something somewhere. And yeah, it was cool because it was kind of like a prologue to the actual series. It was like a prequel, I guess you could say. That was really cool. And it was cool also to see like some of the aesthetic differences from the series. Like you got to see Wonder Man in his safari outfit. And the gold and red Iron Man armor. It was the Silver Centurion one when the series actually started. And also it was Rhodey in the miniseries. And Tony Stark was back in the actual ongoing series. So there were quite a few differences between, I can't remember how much time had passed between the miniseries and the actual one, but in that amount of time, there were quite a few changes that were made. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this life doesn't stand still in the Marvel universe.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So you have all these issues in floppies. I only have number 1 and number 3. So.
Well, I couldn't find them, of course. They're buried somewhere. So I've been reading. Luckily, these are all on the app. So I didn't have to go
on the Marvel Unlimited
tearing
app,
all my boxes apart. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I only have 2 of them. So yeah, I just read them all on the app.
I noticed too on this first issue on the cover, there's a difference between the scanned copy on the digital version and the actual physical one. Did you notice that?
Really? No, I didn't. I haven't looked at the original lately. Why? What's the difference?
There's a face that's missing. And
that
would be Rom the Space Knight.
Of course, yes.
Yep, he was on the actual floppy cover. I think right next to Tigra.
Okay.
In that space, and there's a curious blank space there.
Is that like kind of where Hawkeye's fist is? Is that where?
I think either that or like below Puck, where Puck is in that blank spot there.
Oh yeah, it might have been Puck. Yeah.
Somewhere in that vicinity, but Rom's face was on this cover. And it's not on the app. So,
that's another thing. We're gonna have to make room for an episode or 2 of Rom next year when that Romnibus comes out. Yeah,
absolutely. We're gonna make room for that for sure. That is classic stuff.
Because again, I really didn't read that series, so I want to get a hold of that.
Yeah, we definitely. Anytime we want to talk Rom, I'm all for it.
Okay, I just looked it up online. Yeah, Rom was right underneath Puck's head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
there's like a little part of his like chin that's like obscured by the like the bottom corner box there. So yeah, yeah, you see him right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, we couldn't have Rom, kids.
No, they had to scrub that out. It's so weird how the rights issues for that have been in flux for so long.
I know.
It's a toy from 1978 or something like that.
But man, I mean, look at this. The cover, like they're like trying to tease you with, who will be on this new team?
Yes. Yeah, and that led to my only real complaint about this issue, but I'll get to that after we talk about
what, that Namor's on the cover and he doesn't appear.
Well, none of these people are in it except for like one or two. Like,
wait, hello, Russell. Russell's about to have a night of hell. Wish me well. What?
I think he's fasting tonight.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Russell. Oh no.
Oh, I was about to mention food too. Sorry, no, I was gonna say, what, Taco Bell and no Mountain Dew.
Oh God. No, oh, sorry, Russell.
I assume it's for some medical procedure.
Yeah. I think I don't know. Yeah.
No,
I'm sorry, Russell.
No fasting, no doctor's appointments on Sundays.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot what day it was.
So you can eat to your heart's content then?
Well, that's good.
But yeah, Namor's on the cover. Hercules is on the cover.
Ant-Man, Quicksilver, Black Widow, Cyclops, Doc Samson.
Hiding behind Mockingbird's hair, kind of there.
Yeah. Shauna, I think.
I was going to say, Shauna, is that who that's supposed to be? Shauna there?
I think that's Shauna.
Yeah.
Puck, Red Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Iron Man, yeah.
That only a handful of these people appear in this issue. And that was really my complaint, was that you're going to show all these people on here. And you're not going to have any of them try out for this team except for the Shroud. That's it.
Is that kind of like one of those covers, like is that issue of Avengers where it was basically just like boxes with people's heads. It's like, two of these people joined the team because it was, what was it like? I think it was when She-Hulk joined the team and
I think that was an Al Milgrom cover.
Yeah.
Rom was on that one too. They probably scrubbed that one off the app too.
An Avenger.
So funny. Could you imagine Rom as an Avenger?
That would be so funny if they just like erased his head so there was just like a blank square on the cover on the app. No, we teased it with the Invisible Woman twice.
It's the Silver Surfer, honest.
Oh,
yeah. Funny.
Cantankerous returns. Whoa.
Oh.
I think they have cream for that.
Maybe he's going to have a particularly nasty night at work.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Sorry, Russell. At least you don't have to fast tonight. I was thinking you were going to have to fast, so that's good at least.
But yeah, but even that corner box on the cover, you got like the Hawkeye and then 4 mystery heads. It's like kind of like, well, I'm assuming if Hawkeye's leading this team, his wife, Mockingbird's his wife. I'm assuming his wife's going to be on the team or at least appearing in this book. So
yeah, that's a good assumption to make.
And again, I mean, if you think about it, like logically, it's like, they kind of came up with this book because now they're trying to like keep Avengers teams, smaller and stuff. So it's like, okay,
right.
who was on the other team? Who maybe just Vanguard, Wonder Man, of course, Tigra,
and Iron Man,
yeah.
And they did spend some time though, which I did like, auditioning for a 6-member, and they offered it, as we'll get to. They offered it to the Shroud. So I liked that part.
We'll get to that next episode too, because Hawkeye's looking for that 6th member for a while.
Yeah, that goes on for, I think, the first year or so
something
of that title, and it's pretty interesting who gets the slot, and then turns it down.
Yeah, it kind of. There's like people kind of float in and out of that spot. I swear, because like even like what was it like Avengers 303, where like Quasar's like first appeared, and like Hawkeye's like why'd you join our team? He's like where do you live? He's like New York. He's like never mind.
Oh no, we've got an open spot on the West Coast team if you want to switch.
Oh, all right. So, all right, kids. Yes. Issue 1, West Coast Avengers, September 1984. Avengers Assemble. Writer Roger Stern, penciler Bob Hall, inker Brett Breeding, colorist Juliana Ferreter, letterer Joe Rosen, and editor, one of our favorites, Mr. Mark Grunwald.
Yes.
Which I believe we'll be doing a few of his works next year. So
definitely.
Cap stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have some Cap stuff.
Certain miniseries.
Maybe some Quasar.
Oh
A certain person's birthday, maybe. Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, possibly.
I had a thought for it. I know my birthday's in April, so that would be my month. But I had a thought for an April Fool's week, something or other. Like, what if we switch and like maybe that first week of April for April Fool's Day, you do the Spider Cast, Lilith does the Marvel Tales episode, but you each get to choose for each other. Like you would pick what she has to cover with Marvel Tales, and she would have to cover you had to cover with me on Spider Cast.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic.
I'll ask her if she'd be up for that. Oh
yeah, I love that. April Fool's Day crossover. Fantastic.
See if they take it easy on each other, kids, or if they just put on guns a-blazing.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Just came to me today. I was like, I have to ask her when she's out of the asylum. All right. What are you saying, Russell? You're gonna be cream when I'm done with you, Perich.
Oh my god.
That's what she said. All right. All right, like I said, short synopsis on this one. Hawkeye and Mockingbird are in California inspecting the Avengers West compound, where they also await the arrival of possible members sent to them by the Vision. Iron Man, Jim Rhodes, and Tigra arrive. While they are there, an intruder is detected. This turns out to be the Shroud, who is keeping an eye on Tigra at Jessica Drew's request. They offer him a spot on the team, but he turns them down. I believe more happened in this issue, but yes, that's the synopsis. All right, so
yeah, a little bit more happened in that, but
yes. So thoughts, Justin?
I really liked this one. It's been a while since I read it, but I love of course, we have a great creative team.
Oh yeah.
You can't really get better than these. I was a little surprised at the Jessica Drew cameo too in this. I had forgotten about that in the beginning when her and Tiger are talking. I'd forgotten that she was even in this, I guess, for a few pages. And then it got me to thinking, wow, it would have been cool if she had joined the West Coast Avengers too.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome. Yeah, I think she's kind of out. I mean, she's not as. I'm trying to remember. Does she still have her powers? But she's not. I don't think she's Spider-Woman at the moment. But
yeah, I don't think she had powers. She had retired as Spider-Woman. I think this is when Julia Carpenter had just started, or right around then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? Yeah, because Secret Wars is when Julia Carpenter first showed up. Yeah. So
yeah,
because we do get a mention of Secret Wars in this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jessica Drew, shows up, so it would have been nice to get feedback from someone on To Know Her is to Fear Her, the Spider-Woman podcast.
What the F?
Spider babies.
Yeah, that's where I talk about Jessica Drew all the time.
The Spider Babies.
Spider babies.
The Spider Babies.
Start getting some feedback, Ray. I'm going to kick you in the Spider Babies.
The Spider Babies.
I would like to request to add something to your schedule, Ray.
Go ahead, throw it in.
Sounds like a plan, Jan.
Oh yes.
Sounds like a plan, Jan. couple of balls down the gob.
An issue with Jessica Drew and Tigra. Why do I not have feedback, Ray?
Two of your favorite ladies in one place.
Exactly.
Just for a few pages.
If you're watching on YouTube, you saw that camera shake. I'm literally pounding the desk. Why am I gonna...
I also love the Shroud in this.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the Shroud as a character. I thought he was great. He was really good as kind of the unintentional foil of this. Wonder Man throwing him across the yard.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get into Wonder Man working as a Hollywood stuntman.
Right. Yeah, when we first see him, he's in this vehicle that explodes.
Yeah.
They're filming a movie out in the desert somewhere, and he's in a vehicle that explodes, and they have to throw some water on him, which immediately starts boiling because his skin is so hot from the flames.
Wearing some shorts there, Justin.
Yes. I liked that. Yeah. I like that. Anytime that Simon wants to wear some cutoffs, he can do that.
Is that a safety helmet he's wearing? I'm just like,
I don't know.
You got the
I couldn't.
You blow up a car with he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt, but oh yeah, let's put him in a safety helmet.
Yeah, why do you need that?
Yeah, one, it's Wonder Man, and two,
yeah.
But yeah, he gets the call on his Avengers communicator. So yeah, he puts on that safari costume and takes off.
Now, had he left the other Avengers team a while before this? I can't remember.
I can't remember. Was it on the other side of 200? Because I know, like in the 180s, he was still there.
Yeah, and that whole thing with this when the Scarlet Witch had her tizzy on Wundagore Mountain, he was there for that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there an issue like it was a little bit after 200 where like I think like most of the team was like either fired or quit, and it's like basically we started over. It was basically like the founders, Captain America taking the Hulk's place, but like the original Avengers and Tigra for a while. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a few of those Avengers, those stretches of Avengers issues that I either haven't read or haven't read in years that are gray areas for me. And I can't remember if I read some of that. I remember that I was irritated with some of those issues because Guy Ritchie was hanging around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't stand that idiot. Like, anytime that they put him in a comic book, I'm immediately disinterested. I'm like, oh, God, we got this moron, this idiot with the shades throwing his dick around. I hate this crap.
Oh, because you know he's just there to give people a hard time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's just, I don't find that interesting or a good plot device. I hate that character. So whenever he shows up, I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'll skip this one if he's going to be the focus on it. No, thank you. I don't want to listen to any of his crap for this issue. And he's start barking out orders to the Avengers. You're going to have 7 members. And that's another thing, too. Like, if it wasn't for Gyrich, we wouldn't have the 7-member rule that has been firmly established for the last 30, 40 years. And they've barely ever strayed away from it all that time.
And didn't they say in this issue at some point, didn't Captain America even carve it down to 6 or something?
Yeah.
I think they just tried to come up with an in-story excuse. It's probably easier for the writers to write like 6 or 7, instead of like a giant mob scene.
Right. And for a while too, it was a mob scene. Like, I remember there was like 10 or 12 people in the team at one point. And that is a bit much. But I don't like the firm limitation of you can only have 7 members and that's it. I think that stinks. I've never liked that.
And again, too, it's like the more people we have you have to vary the power set too, because it's like then you have to come up with like really tough opponents. Say you have a team with like Thor and Wonder Man on it. It's like you really got to come up with some big threats.
Yeah, or Thor and Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonder Man and Hercules.
Right.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then you've always got the mainstays on the team, like the Vision and the Scarlet Witch and the Wasp and Hank Pym, and it's just I can't stand that 7-member rule. I think it stinks. But
I think that's why they came up with the West Coast Avengers. Because we can have 2 teams now.
Yes, we can spread them around a little bit. Yeah,
and then we get sell another book too.
Right. And this was back in the day too, when there weren't a million Avengers. Like the roster, the complete roster of the Avengers up to this point, 1984, was maybe 20 to 30 members, maybe.
Maybe if that, yeah.
Yeah, like it might not have even reached 20 yet. I can't remember, but I remember in the Marvel Handbook.
Oh yeah,
they had the Avengers and they had the whole roster listed out with all those glorious John Byrne headshots.
Oh yeah. Because I think they I don't know if they reprinted that. Yeah, because it was the Avengers 300 or something where like there's one issue where they did reprint that. Yeah, and I remember they did the roster up to that point. Yeah, and it was all the John Byrne heads. Yeah,
and I think he'd done a couple of new ones to update the recent editions that had happened since then, in that handful of years. Maybe, if I remember right. I think Gilgamesh was on there. And
oh yeah,
somebody else. Yeah, but yeah, I used to love that because it was like, okay, cool. You can keep track of who's been on this team before. And that was nice. But yeah, I seem to recall that the roster wasn't very big at this time.
But
and,
yeah,
there were only a handful of them that were dead or had taken off to do other stuff.
But after that whole Wonder Man stuff, we get the Iron Man and Tigra. I mean, the art's good throughout this whole thing, but I mean, I really like that Iron Man, like the pencils, the colors. I mean,
yeah, that's really gorgeous.
Got that that old red and gold armor down. Good.
Yeah, it looks so good. And Tigra looks really good in this too. There's some early renditions of Tigra that, depending on who the artist was, could look kind of so-so. But all of this looks really good.
That is funny when she shows up. It just like takes off that coat and hat, and she's just in that bikini. And Rhodey's just like, man, I thought Janet Van Dyne had the smallest costume.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's got that big trench coat and fedora hat on.
She's like, I want to shake my hair out.
It's hot under that big, heavy trench coat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after those 2 show up, Hawkeye's basically explaining how Vision set up this second team. So yeah, if anything happens west of the Rockies, it's it's the West Coast Avengers.
They wanted to be able to cover more ground. Yeah. Which also makes sense. And they had enough members to fill out both teams, so why not make 2?
So then that's when the Shroud shows up. You can see
doing his thing.
You can see Mockingbird in action. Hawkeye and his arrows.
Yeah, there's some great action here when Iron Man grabs the Shroud by the cape and flings him.
Oh yeah, he tries to jump out the window, and that's when Wonder Man shows up.
Yeah, that's not much of a contest, the Shroud versus Wonder Man. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Shroud, but
oh yeah, I mean, basically Wonder Man just rams into him, and
yeah,
or it hurts his ribs,
Yeah, there's no way that he's gonna win that.
It'd be like a brick wall hitting you.
Basically, yeah.
But then after they all settle down, he's basically like, they all find out, oh, Captain America vouches for you. That's good enough.
Yes. Yeah.
And Hawkeye offers him the spot,
And think of how cool that would be to have the Shroud on as an Avenger, period, but as a member of the West Coast Avengers, no less. Because that's where he's based.
But he's like, yeah, it took me a while to build up this reputation. He's basically an undercover superhero working as a crime boss. So
right. And he has this big Gothic castle off the coast of California.
That's funny because he's like, me an Avenger, and Hawkeye's like, yeah. He's like, that's how I became an Avenger. I broke in.
Right? Yeah. That's true.
Broke in and announced myself.
Yeah. And it worked.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other thoughts on this one, or should we move to number 2?
No, this one was a lot of setup, understandably so. Yeah. But yeah, we can move on.
All right. All right. West Coast Avengers number 2 from October 1984. Blanking out. Same team. Oh, wait. No. Letterer, I think we switched up and now it's Diana Elbers, but everyone else seems to be the same. The Hawkeye quote, I was just remembering how I used to be the one who always blew his stack. All of a sudden, I feel old, real old. Yeah. The new West Coast Avengers are training on the grounds of their new compound, with Iron Man serving as the attacker. Hawkeye fires a smoke arrow to provide cover, but Iron Man switches over to infrared lenses to see through it. He attacks Tigra, but she's too fast for him and manages to swing around and jump on top of him, blocking his sight. Hawkeye takes advantage and fires an arrow, which releases an adhesive putty into Iron Man's jet pulse. Says jet pulsers. Okay, sending him tumbling to the ground. But Iron Man uses his glow repulsors in his glove to create a concussive blast into the ground, knocking the rest of the Avengers off their feet. Defeated, Hawkeye ends the training session. Hawkeye comments that having everyone together reminds him of the old days, and Iron Man contemplates telling everyone that he's not the man they think he is. Meanwhile, Freddy arrives at Simon Williams' house to find him using his strength to remove the walls, making it easier to move his belongings out of the house. Freddy asks Simon if he's really serious about going back to being Wonder Man and joining the Avengers, and Simon explains that Wonder Man is who he is and always will be, and that the Avengers will always be part of his life. Realizing that he's out of nails to finish the moving job, he asks Freddy to go into town with him. But as they are leaving the hardware store, the alarm at a nearby bank sounds. The Blank is robbing the bank in broad daylight. Wonder Man moves in to stop him, and the Blank opens fire, but the bullets just bounce off. One swift punch, and the Blank is sent flying back through the doors of the bank to smash into a desk across the room.
Ouch.
Wonder Man wrestles for control of the gun, but the Blank slips out of his grasp and crashes through the front window to escape. Wonder Man rushes out, but the Blank is nowhere to be seen. Later, back at his apartment, Clyde watches the news report about the robbery. He remembers how he came about his powers, waiting at the bus stop. What a supervillain origin. He's waiting for a bus.
That's enough to drive anybody to super villainy.
Oh, yeah, waiting for the humanity you meet on the bus. Yeah,
yeah. Exactly.
There he met a disgruntled scientist for Stark International who had built a wearable force field generator, but upset that the company had been taken over and changed by Obadiah Stane, quit his job. The scientist, too impatient to wait for the bus, was hit by a car. Clyde stole the scientist's briefcase in the confusion. It took him a few months to figure out how it works, but now that the trial tests are over, he's ready for the big money. As Clyde walks out of the room, he doesn't hear the pleas for help emanating from the force field generator. Back at the Avengers compound, Wonder Man expresses his frustration about the Blank's escape. Hawkeye assures him that they'll get full cooperation from the police and that they have a better chance of finding the Blank if they work together as a team. Wonder Man agrees, and the 5 Avengers use their skills to comb the city in search of the Blank. That evening, the Blank arrives at his next target, a Wells Fargo armored truck outside of Emilio's on the outskirts of town. He attacks the guards, shooting and injuring one. As they try and drive off, the Blank leaps into the back of the truck, and threatens to kill the guard if they don't pull over. When the guards refuse to cooperate, the Blank bails out, grabbing as much loot as he can carry. Mockingbird, having heard about the robbery over the radio, pulls up just as the Blank jumps out. She chases him, reporting her location to the others. Within minutes, both Hawkeye and Iron Man show up and are able to corner the Blank at a gas station. The Blank, knowing that he can never fight the Avengers together, leaps for the gas pumps. He knocks them over and sparks land in the leaking gas. The entire gas station explodes, allowing the Blank the chance to escape unharmed while the Avengers deal with the raging fire he created. Arriving back at his apartment, Clyde realizes that Los Angeles may be too hot for a small-time crook like himself and makes the decision to take what little money he stole and leave town. But as he begins to recharge the force field belt, a figure emerges from the energies. It takes human form, revealing that the man trapped inside the force field was Graviton.
Cliffhanger ending, folks.
Yes.
It's Graviton.
So for those of you thinking, why are the West Coast Avengers going to fight this nobody? Well, stay tuned, kids.
Yes. Things are going to get crazy soon.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I always had this theory about it. I mean, like for storytelling purposes, but it's like if you're a guy like the Blank, why don't you just take that belt, go to like the Midwest and start robbing banks there?
Right. Or casinos or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to Vegas.
Even I mean, even if superheroes decide to chase you, it's going to be a while before they come after you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that the Blank was an interesting choice of a villain for this story, especially when you have superheroes with power sets like Wonder Man and Iron Man fighting him.
Yeah.
But he actually gets away from Wonder Man in the first half of the story in this issue, which leads to Wonder Man's little crisis of confidence. He's like, oh, if I can't corral this one guy, then what am I doing on this team? Blah, blah, blah. But I also like that he kind of kept the team on their toes as well. They had to work together to foil his schemes.
Because it's like, yeah, Wonder Man can like throw this guy around, but I mean, he's invulnerable with that force field generator. Yeah,
right.
And that stupid force field belt, it's got suspenders and stuff.
It's a man's ear.
Oh, bro! See, kids, a Seinfeld joke. This is like little not on vacation.
I do what I can. I did laugh at the fact that all it takes to blow up a bunch of gas tanks is just leaping into them and knocking them over. I mean, I guess that would do it, but
I mean, I guess there are electrical cables in there, so yeah, they could, they start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just the way that it was illustrated was kind of funny. He just kind of careens head on into these these gas tanks outside of this gas station, and they explode.
And Hawkeye on his sky cycle.
Yeah. He loves that sky cycle, man.
Why not, man? I mean, if you're an archer, man, you get to the high ground.
Best. And I remember in the Solo Avengers book, he made good use of that all the time.
I mean, he didn't write this one, but I think Grunwald liked that sky cycle because Cap used one for a while.
Yes. Yeah. I can see why. I mean, it makes sense if you're kind of like a street-based character like Captain America and Hawkeye, dealing with that type of crime fighting on a regular basis. You would want some type of mode of transportation like that.
And I think it was a modified one, but Cap had one where he could stick his shield in the front, like there, like shield. Yeah,
that was awesome.
But yeah, that's cool. Like how Iron Man puts out the fire, just grabs like the truck of sand and just dumps the whole thing on.
Dumps it right on, smothers the flame. Yeah, and the Graviton thing was cool at the end. I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I read that, I was surprised, thinking, oh, I wasn't expecting to see him.
But yeah, he's, the Blank's talking about leaving town. He's like, what? He's like, Graviton's like, I don't think I know I could beat the Avengers. Which again, I think when he fought them, there were some heavy hitters on that. Wonder Man was there, I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah.
Thor was Thor somebody there? I'm like,
I feel like Thor was there. Cap was Vision, Scarlet Witch,
and as we'll
Wasp.
get, and as we'll get from his explanation next issue, yes, he has fought Thor, solo in a group, so
a few times.
So yeah, so this is a guy who can take on Thor, kids. So
yeah. I always thought that Graviton was really one of the more powerful villains in the Marvel universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's basically Magneto. I mean, he can, do stuff just with a thought, just
but he's not restricted to just metal objects.
Yeah, I know. It's just like just all gravity. I'll make you so heavy you can't stand up, or
I'll take away your gravity and fling you away into the ocean, as we'll see in the next
one. Or there was a Spider-Man story. He's like, yeah, you're just gonna float off into space.
Yes.
Spider-Man was going to float up into space till he snagged a plane with a passing plane with a web line.
Yeah. That's kind of horrifying if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, they're pandering to you. Once again, that bank holdup. I mean, Wonder Man wearing the short shorts again.
Short shorts again. He's lifting up the side of that house. Yeah, I love the short shorts. Anytime Simon wants to wear those.
And then he's like, I haven't needed a hammer in a long time. He's just like pounding the nails in, putting the wall back on the house.
It's so funny.
I love Freddy. He's like, because he's like, let's go into town and get nails. And Freddy's like, aren't you afraid someone's going to steal your crate of stuff? He's like, it weighs over a quarter ton. And he's like, who's going to carry it off?
They're not going to get very far with it. That's so funny.
But good stuff here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So should we get to the next one?
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, this is a funny cover with like Graviton just like spinning them around.
Yeah.
All right. West Coast Avengers number 3, November 1984. Taking care of business. Every day.
Every day.
Oh, another new letterer, Rick Parker. So for some
letter for every issue.
Yeah, for some reason we're rotating letters out of here left and right.
That's funny.
Boy, I'm really scrolling for this. Synopsis. All right. The West Coast Avengers have their hands full helping Los Angeles out of the freak snowstorm it's experienced. Again, this is stuff that's happening in the Thorable, kids, because they did this in a lot of books around that time. Was it the Cask of Ancient Winters or whatever? But yeah, I remember a Spider-Man issue. He's like, all of a sudden it's like snowing. He's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like June or July. They're like, it's snowing. So yeah, kids.
I missed that Thor story initially. I went back and of course reread that, but I had no clue what was going on. I was like, why is it snowing all of a sudden over there?
It's freaky ass Guardian stuff, kids.
Yeah.
So even Los Angeles in like July is getting a snowstorm, kids. So while Iron Man helps dig out stranded commuters in their cars, Wonder Man uses a giant snow plow to clear away the snow from the Santa Monica Freeway. Yes, kids, he's literally just is holding a huge snow plow, just plowing the highway. Iron Man comments that the weird weather has done some strange things to people's heads, but after spotting people skiing in bikinis and shorts, he decides he's just being paranoid.
Just another day in California.
Mm-hmm. Others, however, are taking advantage of the chaos the freak weather has caused to break into an electronics store and help themselves to the goods. The robbery is thwarted by Hawkeye and Mockingbird, who have taken to patrolling the streets to help out the police during the emergency. One robber manages to get away and make it back to the getaway car, but not before Tigra does. She manages to convince the robbers to give themselves up and beg to be taken to jail. Okay, 2 things that was weird about that. So I know Tiger's probably extra strong, but is she strong enough to like hold back a moving car?
Yeah.
Lifting up the back end. I'm like, is she that strong?
Yeah, she is actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she can lift like a couple tons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she like Spider-Man territory, like 10 tons or something? Or
I don't think it's 10, but I think it's
a ton.
maybe
A few.
Maybe 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
It's more than you'd think. Yeah, I remember being impressed by that and surprised. Yeah.
and
She's
talking
actually
about
pretty tough.
and speaking of attire in a snowstorm, she's wearing stuff on her legs, but then she's just wearing that bikini still. I mean, she's covered in fur, but
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. She's got some boots on and some leggings. Like, what are you doing? You don't need that. Like, you've got fur to insulate you from the cold.
come on, Ray.
Maybe she didn't want to get wet.
Oh, baby. Come on, Ray. You don't want to join us in the chat room? Come on, Tigra. All right.
Yeah. Tiger in the snow, no less.
No.
Yeah.
By midday, the snow is completely melted away, leaving no trace. The Avengers regroup at the base of the Hollywood sign. Hawkeye, proud of how his new team worked together during the crisis, rewards the team with a special barbecue back at the compound. As Hawkeye and Mockingbird return in the Quinjet, Tiger convinces Iron Man to give her a lift in order to talk to him. She is worried about Wonder Man, who has been hot-headed and distant over the last few days. She hopes that Iron Man, who has known Simon for a long time, can talk to him and find out what's wrong. Iron Man explains to her that he's just met Wonder Man and is forced to reveal that the man under the armor is actually Jim Rhodes. And again, he doesn't give her a name. He's basically, again, Tiger found out Tony Stark was Iron Man, but he takes off that glove and he's like, "See, I'm not Tony Stark." So, yeah, kids. Hold on, that's my place. Where am I at? Yeah, there we go. In the Santa Monica Mountains, Graviton overlooks the city below, thankful that the snow has disappeared. The Blank arrives, informing Graviton that his orders have been carried out and the messages delivered. But the Blank is nervous, worrying about starting something big with the Avengers in town. Graviton tells him not to worry, as he has dealt with the Avengers before. When the Blank reminds him that he also was defeated by then, Graviton gives him an example of his incredible power. He then agrees that it would be best to be cautious and states that by the time the Avengers realize he's back on Earth, it will be too late. Down on the beach within the Avengers compound grounds, Tiger finds Wonder Man lost in thought. She tells him that she's worried about him and is willing to lend an ear if he wants to talk. Simon is worried that maybe rejoining the Avengers was the right thing to do and tells her of his past with the Avengers and what led him to originally quit and become a stuntman in Hollywood. At the time, he says it felt right to accept Hawkeye's offer to join, but after letting the Blank escape, he's now beginning to doubt himself and his choices. Tiger can sympathize and reveals to him her ability to create an illusion that changes her back to normal using the amulet the cat people gave her when they transformed her into Tigra. She tells him that she doubts herself every day and is not sure she's ready to be a full-time Avenger. Tigra then convinces Simon to go with her into town. She has an idea on how they can track down the Blank. On Sunset Boulevard, Tigra and Simon arrive at the Cats Jazz Club, the same place where the Shroud said they could reach him if needed. When they enter, they find the place ransacked and the staff beaten and bruised. The Shroud finally appears, having returned from San Francisco, and demands to know who did this. He asks that the Avengers not contact the police as he wishes to keep his reputation as an undercover crime lord. Wonder Man and Tiger agree to help him track down the culprits as well as keep the Shroud secret. At the house of Lucky Max Galino, the Shroud and a disguised Wonder Man crash a party of some of the city's lowlifes. Yes, he puts on a blonde wig, kids.
Yeah.
A curly blonde wig. The Shroud demands to speak to the boss, which, to their surprise, is the Blank. The Blank tells them that he's planning a consolidation of all the West Coast mobs under his leadership. Simon attacks the Blank, but before he can reach him, both he and the Shroud are seized by an unknown force in midair. Their plan failed. Simon pulls off his disguise and reveals himself and Tiger, who is watching outside, crashes through the window to the surprise of the Blank and to surprise the Blank from behind. Finally, the true leader reveals himself as Graviton. Steps into the room. He easily takes out Wonder Man by increasing his gravity and sending the Avengers crashing through the floor. He pins the Shroud and Tiger to the wall, but Wonder Man frees himself and smashes his way back into the room. He immobilizes Wonder Man, then using his great power, throws the Shroud, Tigra, and the Blank, whom he has no further use for, miles through the air and into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Back at the compound, Hawkeye fires up the grill to start the barbecue. Mockingbird is worried that both Tigra and Simon have been gone for so long. Hawkeye tells her not to worry, as the two of them can take care of themselves. Little do they know that at that moment, Graviton holds Wonder Man underwater, waiting for him to take his last breath.
Good ending.
Yes. Oh, yes, kids. And yes, the snow was from the events of the Surtur saga from Thor's 349 through 353 and Avengers 249. So,
yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid, I think I read this miniseries in like 1987 or 8, maybe. I still hadn't read that saga in Thor, so I had no clue what was going on. I was like, why is it snowing?
I know. I think, yeah, I read the Spider-Man issue and it starts snowing. And it's so funny because when he gives up the black suit and he has to go home in that Fantastic Four costume with the bag on his head.
Yeah.
And then he's like, how could this day get any worse? Then he's like, wait, it's snowing in July? What? Yeah. There was just some brief editor's note. Yeah, see Thor, current issues of Thor. I was like, oh.
Right, yeah. Yeah, what did you think of this one, Phil, with the return of Graviton?
Very interesting. And I love this. I love back in the day. I mean, if we got a returning villain, we got an explanation because yes, we did see like Thor dumped him in like a void, an interdimensional void, but we got woken up when the construct that took all the heroes and villains, the Secret Wars, passed by.
Brushed by the Beyonder.
Yeah. Hit and run with the Beyonder.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you get home in on
It's
the blanks.
a tag along.
Yeah.
I liked the little conversation between Tigra and Wonder Man on the beach.
Yes.
Where they kind of go over each other's respective origins with each other. And have that little bit of a heart-to-heart, because it also is a precursor to their romantic relationship, as we'll see in the beginning of the West Coast Avengers series that we'll talk about next episode.
Yes.
Tigra and Wonder Man are fully an item at that point. So that was a nice little precursor to their romance that came later. But
he does mention, we have to cover this one day, the Avengers issue where they appear on David Letterman.
Oh, yes. Yeah. When he mentioned that, I thought about we have to cover that at some point. Have you ever talked about that on any show before?
No, I never talked about it on any show. Yeah, we have to talk about that.
Let's do that.
It was like Assistant Editors Month. It wasn't even like the main team. I think it was like a bunch of, wasn't it like the reserves? It's like, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you've talked about the Saturday Night Live issue,
yes,
I think.
yeah,
Haven't you?
They did do that Marvel team up one, but yeah, we got to do the Letterman one.
The Letterman one would be good, yeah. Maybe we'll add that to next year's schedule.
Wonder Man doesn't even like change his clothes. It's just like he's wearing a blonde wig.
I know, and that's a terrible wig too. Oh man.
I mean, I guess he took off the red safari jacket, but besides that, yeah, he did nothing to disguise himself. Besides that wig.
Just threw on some type of tan jacket instead of his red one.
And how about that for a cliffhanger? He just has Wonder Man pinned to the bottom of the pool. He's like, he can't get up. He's gonna keep him underwater. And
you're stuck there indefinitely.
Trying to impress those girls in their swimsuits. Which is so weird. The one looks horrified, which of course, he's killing a man in front of her, but the other one has like a big grin on her face. I'm like,
oh yeah, make him suffer. Yeah. She must be one of Frank Miller's girls.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Your mother's a whore.
Oh yeah, I love supervillain groupie, but I love mayhem and murder.
Your mother's a whore.
Kill him again. Yeah, that's quite a power of Graviton. Like thinking about the fact that he hurled the Shroud, Tigra, and the Blank all of that way, like through the distance into the ocean. Like that's quite a power. That's significant.
And they probably would have kept going, but he probably just like he was like, okay, no, whatever, wherever they're at, they'll land.
Right. And that's it was at least a few miles. Like that power is significant, I think.
I love Hawkeye's barbecuing in his full costume.
Yeah.
Like, really? At least don't take the mask off?
Right. You're gonna get grease all over that.
And then Rhodey just thinking, how am I going to eat with this helmet on? He's like, I guess I might have to tell them who I am.
Yeah, revealed the big secret.
Exactly. All right. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, issue number 4.
Yes. All right. All right. West Coast Avengers number 4, December 1984 finale. All right, the letter. Okay. Oh no, we might have some. Roger Stern and Bob Hall still here. Inkers this time. Brett Breeding and Peter Berardi. Colors Ken Fed on what? Yes, FEDUNIEWICZ. So someone just that's quite the last name.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that one either.
And the letterer this time, Joe Rosen. 20 miles out from the 20 miles out
20
from the shore
miles
in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh my God.
Tigra emerges to the surface holding the unconscious Shroud afloat. She uses her emergency signal beacon to call for help. She remembers being thrown through the air by Graviton along with the Shroud and the Blank, who is nowhere to be seen. Just as the Shroud begins to regain consciousness, Iron Man appears to rescue them, having heard their signal. Back at the Avengers compound, Tigra relays the story of what happened to the others. She is worried about Wonder Man, whom nobody has heard from since the attack. Iron Man is tired of waiting and wants to attack Graviton head on. Hawkeye reminds him that Graviton is one of the most powerful supervillains the Avengers have ever faced, and that Iron Man should know that as he was there during their initial battle years ago. Iron Man decides it's time to tell the truth to the others, removing his helmet to reveal to them his true face, Jim Rhodes. Hawkeye is shocked and angered, unable to believe that they've been working with an amateur. Rhodes strikes back at the remark, reminding Hawkeye of how he helped them escape on Battle World when the Molecule Man dropped an entire mountain on top of them.
Remember that?
Hawkeye backs down and remembering how much of a hothead he used to be to Captain America when he first joined the Avengers, realizes he was out of line and apologizes. The team then puts their heads together to come up with a plan to rescue Wonder Man and defeat Graviton. Later at Graviton's Santa Monica retreat, he's paid a surprise visit by the notorious Madame Mask, head of the Magia crime family. She tells Graviton that she had heard that he was working to consolidate the Southern California gangs and is interested in hearing more. When she informs him of her worries with the Avengers moving into the West Coast, he laughs at her and shows her an example of what he can do to the Avengers. Wonder Man, who lies unconscious at the bottom of his pool. Graviton notices a look of shock on Mask's bodyguard's face upon seeing Wonder Man, and she strikes him, threatening to have him join Wonder Man at the bottom of the pool. Just then, they are attacked by Iron Man from above. Within seconds, Graviton acts, taking control of Iron Man with his gravity power and disabling the Avengers. Inside, Bobby, who is masquerading as a bartender, sneaks away and slips into her costume as Mockingbird. She contacts Hawkeye by radio, putting the second phase of their plan in operation. As Graviton brings Iron Man to his knees, unknown to him, Wonder Man has regained consciousness at the bottom of the pool. Mockingbird and Hawkeye join the fight, keeping Graviton distracted enough to allow him to slip, releasing Wonder Man. The entire pool collapses as Simon breaks free. He climbs out of the water just in time to deliver a well-timed punch to Graviton, forcing him to bring down his gravity force shield. Iron Man swoops in and grabs Madame Mask, flying off with her. Graviton pursues Iron Man, but the Avenger has set up a trap. Hooking his armor directly into the power line for the southwestern grid, he fires an incredibly powerful repulsor blast directly at Graviton and his force shield. The immense power disables both Graviton and Iron Man. Madame Mask rushes up to Graviton, laying a tight-fisted punch across the villain's jaw. Pulling off her mask, she reveals herself to be Tigra in disguise, having used her amulet to give the illusion of Madame Mask. With the West Coast Avengers back together again, they attack Graviton as a team. He finds himself to be overwhelmed, and he is disabled and knocked unconscious by Hawkeye's tranquilizer gas arrows. The police arrive to haul away the defeated Graviton, and the news cameras capture the results of the new Avengers' first victory as a team. The next day, the Avengers sit around the pool at their compound, watching the news story while finally having the barbecue that Hawkeye promised. Tigra tells Simon that when she saw him at the bottom of Graviton's pool, she was so terrified for him. He reassures her that ever since he rose from the dead those years ago, he hasn't needed things like food, water, or air. They then receive a call from the Vision on the East Coast, congratulating the team on a job well done. With all doubts now gone, the West Coast Avengers are ready to stand among the best. Their saga is just beginning.
Yeah.
All right, so. Oh, and they didn't even mention since Mockingbird was like masquerading as a bartender, they slipped the Graviton and Mickey too.
Oh,
So, see, kids, I mean, the Avengers to learn their lesson instead of trying to take them down just purely through brute force. Yeah, they slipped them a drug too. So,
yeah, well, whatever works when you got a villain that powerful.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to fight dirty.
But yeah, I think the whole thing with Rhodey, where he's basically like, because again, Hawkeye's like, oh, he's an amateur. He's like, you realize how long I've been with you guys? He's like, I was there with you on Battle World.
Yeah, which happened. Yeah, I was trying to remember the timeline on that.
I believe that was still in
Secret
84,
Wars.
but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he was around a lot longer than that, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's not like he just took up the armor right before.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this might be closer to Iron Man 200 and not, and he took over in the 70s. So,
yeah.
But yeah, real time. He's probably been Iron Man at least a year or two. So,
at least, yeah. Leave it to Hawkeye to run his mouth, But at least he apologized afterwards. He realized he had made a mistake. He spoke out of turn.
And it's just so funny. He's like, oh, is this what I put Captain America through back in the day?
Yeah, right. Yeah, see, Hawkeye, you're growing. Yeah.
I feel so old. I'm a responsible one.
Yeah.
All right.
I love the panels where we see the slow progression of Simon's effort to free himself from the bottom of the swimming pool.
Yeah.
We see it over like 3 or 4 panels. I like that, how they spaced it out that way so that, when he eventually does emerge, it's at the right moment. They time it perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Just see him just like digging his fingers in the bottom of the pool and then just tearing down the side of the pool. Yeah. I mean, he can survive being underwater that long, but I'm sure it's not a pleasant experience.
Well, yeah, sure. He wants to help his team. And then Tigra punches him right in the face. Graviton. I actually looked up her powers too. It says, according to this, about 10 tons.
Oh, okay. So she is in Spider-Man territory.
So she is. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, she's right in there. So yeah, that had to hurt, getting walloped right in the face.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I'm sure Graviton's using his power to absorb some of those blasts, but yeah, I mean, in this final battle here, I mean, he takes a shot from Wonder Man, then Tigra, so.
Yeah, he's definitely reeling, and then he gets the gas right in the face.
Yeah, well, then the Iron Man, Rhodey gives him the whole, hooks up to the substation and pours all that energy into him.
Yeah. One massive repulsor blast. Yeah, the art is excellent in this. I can't say enough good things about the art in this. It's so
See,
good.
Here's how you know it's the real barbecue. Hawkeye, Mockingbird, and Rhodey have all taken their masks or helmets off. So this is the real one.
At least Hawkeye puts on an apron, you know. At least
Yeah.
he's not getting his entire costume covered with grease, only some of it.
Oh yes, and the West Coast Avengers show up in Avengers 250 next. So
Yes, which is Maelstrom, right?
yes.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
I'm happy that this took off. I'm happy that this miniseries was enough of a success to launch the ongoing series that came after, because that's still one of my top 10 favorite comics. I love the West Coast Avengers so much. And not just because I started reading it from the beginning when I was a kid, but because I felt like that had some of the better stories at the time.
Oh yeah, there for the longest time. I enjoyed or Avengers West Coast, or whatever era it was, better than the main Avengers book.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, and there was some heavy things. Like I remember the whole plot line where Mockingbird was drugged and raped by the Phantom Rider, and then that whole conflict that happened. I mean, that was some pretty heavy stuff for, you know, a 10 or 11-year-old kid to read about. But I loved it. It was done really well, and the series just moved along at a really brisk pace. It never felt like it stalled out. Like there was a moment that the series kind of lagged and stalled out and lost its momentum. It always just kept going really well. It added some great new members as it went along. Yeah, I love that series so much. I'm glad we're covering the beginning in the next episode.
Yeah. So we'll see where we're at. Next episode, kids, when we start the ongoing series, and again, we'll have Tony Stark back.
Yep, the Silver Centurion armor.
Mm-hmm.
And Wonder Man has a new costume as well. Loses the safari outfit.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's already in the black and red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he hasn't started dyeing his hair yet. He's still got the gray hair in issue number 1.
Although it's like by the time we get to the Wonder Man ongoing, it's like, yeah, he can kind of like subtly change his appearance, and
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Justin?
No, I'm glad we covered this miniseries. It was nice to revisit this again, Phil, and check this out. Like I said, it feels to me like a nice prequel to the ongoing series. It sets things up well. It's cool that Graviton was the villain. Like I still think he's one of the most fearsome villains in the Marvel universe, but he's almost too powerful. He's almost kind of like Molecule Man.
Yes.
In that category where you have a villain that's almost too powerful. How do you beat this guy if he can control gravity? Or how do you beat the Molecule Man who can control anything? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the Avengers, the stories in which Graviton is used for the most part, the writers always always come up with some inventive way for the heroes to find out a method to beat him. You know, they work, either it's a team effort like it was in this, where they work together to defeat him, or if it's a solo character, as in the case of Thor, you know, they have to be creative with what they do, like exiling him to another universe, or whatever, putting him in another dimension, whatever you do. You got to get creative when you fight villains with that type of power.
And I love that. Like I said, I love this era where, like, they'll explain, oh, hey, Thor dumped him in a dimension. This is how he got out. You know, these days it just seems like, oh yeah, the villain's back, kids. Just roll with it.
He's just back. Yeah, just accept it.
Oh, hey, didn't this guy die like 5 years ago? He's back. Just roll with it.
Yeah, he's back.
It's comics. Just roll with it.
He was one of the ones that the Hood brought back. Back when the Hood resurrected all those dead villains. He was one of those guys.
Bendis.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mr. The King of, just roll with it. I'm about to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. It'll work, I promise. It'll work.
I know round wheels have been popular the last couple centuries, but I think I'm going to start making some square wheels. You know?
Yeah. Some triangle wheels.
Let's completely change up those personalities in Moon Knight's head. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America, sure.
That was his formula for the longest time. It's like, oh, I'm coming onto a book. Let's just add Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Avenger, Moon Knight. I
Yeah.
see Bendis.
Yeah. Let's
Bendis.
just add those two and it'll make everything perfect.
And Bendis is sitting there somewhere going, no, your new target is Frank Miller. No, I thought you were off me now. Your mother's a whore.
We don't forget.
We don't forget Frank Miller. No.
That's right.
All right, kids. So yes, next time, like I said, this will be our last week of 2 Marvel Tales a week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know we have. So
yes, absolutely.
But yes, in a few days you'll hear our coverage of the issue 1 and 2 of the ongoing West Coast Avengers series and Vision and the Scarlet Witch #2. Oh, that's right. We're gonna get all that Grim Reaper stuff too.
Yeah, so good. It's a nice little 3-part story by Steve Englehart.
Mm-hmm. And then, the last episode of the month, you'll get Thor 433 through 436, the beginning of Eric Masterson's run as Thor.
Yes, I'm super excited about that one.
Mm-hmm. And then, again, if in October, you'll be getting the first 4 issues of the 90s Ghost Rider series, the first 5 issues of Hellstorm, Prince of Lies, and then the last 2 issues of the last 2 episodes of October, you'll get Marvel Comics Presents 1 through 6 and then 7 through 12, all focusing on one of Justin's favorites, the Man Thing.
Giant-sized man thing.
A certain giant-sized man thing.
That's what we need to cover one day. Just some of those giant-sized Man Thing issues.
Oh yeah.
Just the name. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get Lilith for those. Oh
yeah, that old Steve Gerber stuff. You better believe it.
You and Lilith and
giant-sized man thing.
It's a recipe for success.
Exactly. And again, like Lilith and I say, it's our branding. Kids, Capes and Lunatics Network. The kings and queens of dick jokes. Come on.
Yeah.
Dick joke royalty, kids.
All day, every day.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I gotta write something down. Get you to record some stingers. The Capes.
Oh
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Write me up a script. I'll read whatever you want.
Now 50% more dick jokes. Oh no! You know what I need? I need stingers from you and Lilith being like, "Yes, the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network now 50% more dick jokes." Now giving you 50% more dick jokes. All right, kids. I think I made a boner of myself enough tonight. All right, so send us your thoughts on all the upcoming stuff. Email. Oh yes, and that's and also in November, Lilith and I will be doing our annual Hobgobble Gobble month. We'll back up to the beginning of the lineup with Mackindale, but for the first year ever, Ultimate Spider-Cast cannot contain Hobgobble Gobble month. We'll be doing 2 Mackindale episodes here.
Yes, Mac Daddy Mackindale,
including his first ever appearance. So,
in Machine Man.
Oh yes,
I've never read that. It's gonna be.
I haven't read it either.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Yes, the Machine Man comic, kids, not the lover Lilith Hellfire is trying to build.
Yes. The horny Doombot.
Yes.
I wonder if my wrist is ready for that.
All right. Well, you won't have to be. All right. So send us your thoughts. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise. Come on, kids. Go pick yourself up a t-shirt.
Yes. Get some swag.
That's right. And of course, you can also find a link to join the Patreon Elite, like Justin here.
That's right. Join
Ray Russell, and Maz Manzoor. Again, subscribe right now, and you can get all of Lilith Hellfire's drunken thoughts on the '90s Heroes Reborn, all 4 series. So
yes, all uncensored,
it's worth
and the ending will surprise you.
That's right. Her pick of least favorite will surprise you.
Yes.
And again, all the old content's up there. All the superhero movie brackets from last year. Damien Lilith Hellfire.
Those are absolutely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go back and listen to those again.
And if you spring for the full video, you'll get a topless Charlie Esser too.
That's right.
And some of his last work. Yeah.
Listening to you guys talk about, my favorite was the one where you talked about the fan 4 stick.
Yes.
When you lambasted that one.
I remember trying to tease all those episodes, be like, oh, one of our team members gets topless, hoping that people thought it was Lilith, but then
my knockers are fully frosted.
Surprise!
Shout out to you, Charlie Esser.
Yes,
I know.
Much missed.
I know you're up there. Well, he's probably moved on from Richard Pryor asking Superman 3 questions. You're probably talking to Bill Bixby about the Incredible Hulk right now. So.
Probably. Maybe he's talking to Mark Grunwald.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. All right. So find all our links at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's right. I'm a plug machine. This is the monster Lilith Hellfire created. All right. Well, again, this is the monster Lilith Hellfire and Rob Southgate created.
Why did your eye drift over to my box?
All right. Justin. This man joins me every week on Marvel Tales, usually once a month on We Are the Night, the Batman podcast. But he's been the all-star of September here. So, and again, we are now doing twice a month with Tyler Patrick and probably Mr. James Cole on Electric Mullet, the Superman podcast.
Podcast, which is great fun.
And if that's not enough Al for you,
yes,
he also does some other podcasting. So tell us all about that, Justin.
Yeah, you can find me on a couple of other shows. Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is with my pal Russell. We talk about the Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk twice a month. And we're also reviewing each new issue of the amazing new series by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Nick Klein. It's amazing. If you haven't read it, go check it out. And we also have a Patreon, so check us out there if you'd like. We have bonus episodes on there as well, once a month. This month's episode is about Pitt from Image Comics. We go back and talk about the first couple of issues of those. And also, Russell and I are joined by our friends Ray and Sparky on Predator and Prey, the Yocha podcast, in which we talk about twice a month Fox's Predator in comics, movies, action figures, video games, and more. And last but not least, the Lost Library of Legends is coming soon.
I believe one was there.
I'm going to surprise you, Phil. It's going to come out of nowhere when you least expect it.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I'm just going to post the link and be like, surprise, check this out.
Superior Puss.
That too.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's so salty.
Salty and Petty will return when Wolf returns.
Just on a brief hiatus.
Oh my god, I was just like re-listening to stuff from a few months ago. We were on a Spider Cast and like we're talking about how about Carnage and I said, oh yeah, he's kind of petty, and Lil's like, yeah, that's why you like him. He's petty. I'm like, and Cardiac was in those issues too. I'm like, oh yeah, well Cardiac's a salty bitch. How do you like that?
Cardiac. I love Cardiac.
That's right, kids. Between Lilith and Justin, I'll cover anything 90s. Hell, now Electric Mullet. Oh, she's.
Yeah, we're going to be creeping up to the 90s over there, too. It's going to be 90s all over the place.
Oh, yes. And all you Marvel fans, stay tuned this month. You'll also be getting a Wondercast.
Yes, that's right.
with the full crew, the two of us, Mr. Will Allred, and that lady
Ray.
slacker Ray, Captain Marvel Snap himself, Ray.
Marvel Snap.
And I know that's not the game you're playing, Ray, but it's just funnier. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us again. Later this week, more West Coast Avengers.
Yes.
And then next week, Thor.
Send in your thoughts for us.
94. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, send us your thoughts, please, kids, because Ray drops the ball all the time. And Lil can't wake up from her drunken stupor, so we're counting on you, the fans. Remember, kids, the power of the bikini. Good night.
That's right.